So I wanted to do a little flip through now that she's all done, all 28 days plus. So I started out, as you'll recall, I started out with an Wow Studio book bones in the 4x6 size instead of just one spine that comes with the book bones of the size you choose. I added 2 additional spines, and you can see that in here, 1, 2, and 3. So what I did when I finished the artwork, I decided that I was gonna do the cover and then go through and do my inside of my cover, my title page, the back cover, and then anything, like I wanted to add some tabs. So Dee Catron over at Wow Studio has some really wonderful tabs. There's these heart ones, and I use some of these, and then there's these generic ones. There's circular and rectangular ones, and then anytime there's a piece that comes out from like that centerpiece, she includes those in this mash. So they're tabs, but they're also a mash, so it's really fun. So I put some of those in here as well. So to start off with, I decided to do a collage, at least start with a collage of all the bits and pieces that were left over from the collage work that I did inside. And so you're gonna recognize some of this. And I did videotape the making of the cover, but you can see here that it really pulls through. It's kind of like a story of the inside. And I was actually going to do some work over the top of it, but I decided to push it back with some gesso. I added more of the cardboard. I had only a few pieces. And so I added this bigger piece, chunkier piece on the front. I did some shadowing, but you'll see that in the making of the cover. And then I did some beadwork. These are from my friend Kristen Van Valkenburg, and she gifted those to me from our collaboration at the holidays. For the front secure, I used a ceramic button by Tina Walker that I purchased, and I absolutely adore this. So I actually went totally through the cover, and then I did the front cover with some upholstery fabric in the reverse. This is actually the reverse of it, and it had this lovely fringe for the finished edge. So I did that. And then of course I made my title page, which I enjoy doing on my journals. And then the back loop, this is just out of old pair of sweatpants. And again, the back cover is the same kind of fabric. I just stitched it right through, and you can see that right here. And I painted it to kind of go along with it, and it just is perfect. And you know how I feel about little chunky monkeys. This one is chunky. So now for our little flip through. So you'll recognize this paper. This is from that Dr. Seuss one. And I have had this piece of paper. This is out of a magazine, and I really liked the color. I felt like it went with this really well. So I didn't do any touch-ups on this page. I did have some bleed through from another page that came through, but I like to leave those things when I can. This is one of my favorite pages. This is really kind of my kind of style, I think. This was fun. This started out with some of the artist washi tape by Tina Walker. And I liked the colors in these circles, and these were from Tina Walker as well. These circles too, and from that I went in with, and then decided to actually use them in here. I love this. This actually, the text in the background is actually from The World of Winnie the Pooh. This is what I call my Dr. Seuss page. And I had some bleed over of the black from the next page, but I really kind of liked it. So I left it be. Now on this page, I did go back in and make some changes. I put a little bit of white white is usually very opaque, and this is titanium white, which is very opaque. I added some airbrush medium to it to help make it a little bit more translucent. I did have some beading because this paper is out of a magazine and it's kind of glossy, but I kind of tried to use that to my advantage and just pushed the texture back of this paper a bit, and then came back in and re-solidified my letters so that you can see the words better. So that's the only change I did here. Oh, and then I did paint this black so that it would match this side. I did actually go into here and make a change, and I pumped up the volume of the black that I have here to make that stand out more. I did as well in these spaces as well. A lot of these are magazine paper, so which creates it to kind of bead up a little bit, so it makes it kind of fun to do some shadowing. And this is one of my favorite pages. This is from Unwow Studio. It's her Poppy's stencil. It's one of my favorite stencils. I've had it for a very long time. And so here all I did was add one of the tabs from the hearts. And this was where I have signature 1 and then signature 2 came in, and I did not use these pages. My plan originally was to sandwich them together, but when you close the book, I had some skewing and I didn't like that. So I actually went in and did some additional artwork. And on this page, this is actually from the envelope that Dee Dee Catron sends her products in. So she always does these. This is kind of her trademark plus sign. And so when I got the giveaway pack, this is what it came in. So I used that here. And I took a foam stamp from Art Foamies, and I used this calligraphy Elegant Writer pens, and these are dye based, so you get some wonderful bleeding and it creates all these different colors. You'll see pinks and blues and greens in it. So I stamped with it, and then I took water in a water brush and I bled that out so it would just bleed a little bit. So I really like that. And this is really old vintage paper. When I was laying this down and decoupaging it down, it actually started cracking on me. So I just kind of layered it a bit in areas that it cracked. And I used my new rose pink in the Liquitex Basics. This is a heavy body paint, and that I'm now carrying in my Etsy store. And I just laid down some paint, put TCW stencil 2 hearts over it, and then pulled it back with a baby wipe, and then modeled it a little bit where it was really stark, because I really wanted it to be a background for this quote. And I wrote that quote using a I don't remember what color it was. It wasn't this color, but it's an Artist Pitt pen. And I believe, oh, here it is. It was in a walnut brown is what I used there. I did not make any changes to this layout. This is not my favorite by any means. There are a couple of not favorites. I just really don't like yellow. And I think that was part of what was going on here. I do like certain things in here. I really like how there is no texture here, but it certainly looks like there is. And here you almost have a holographic look to it in person, the way that the multiple mediums turned out there. And I really do like this kind of Aurora Borealis almost look about it. Don't like the yellow. No changes. I did make a change here, and this did not show up well in the video or in the still images, so I'm not quite sure how it'll show up here for you, but there is tons of texture here, tons of color, tons of layer. It's not I use oxide, so sometimes that will just give you this flash kind of solid color look. I did go back in and use some charcoal here to pump up the volume around the quote and this tea bag piece. No changes here. This is also a Tina Walker piece here. This was not supposed to look like a snow scene. It was supposed to be more galaxy looking. I did go in and add some charcoal here around these pieces and this little heart. It was bothering me that there was two and not another third pink, so I did add that. No changes here. A lot of this these elements were gifted to me by Kristen Van Valkenburg. No changes here. Here's that 2 heart stencil again. I love that one. I have that in my store. No changes. One of my favorite things to do is put tissue paper over textural items. No changes. No changes. This is one of my favorites as well. And this is how I handled the separation between 2 signatures on this page. I just kind of made it not connected in the center. So, no changes. No changes. And all I did here is I did add this tab, and these are the regular tabs, but I sandwiched 2 together here and put this tapestry, which was a gift to me, along with this piece of paper back here, was a gift to me from, and this washi too, from Crafty Hope at Crafty Hope. No real changes except for the tab. No changes. No changes. No changes. No changes. And no changes. So that is it in the whole. I hope that you have enjoyed the 28 days. I hope you have enjoyed this as much as I have, and see you back in the studio on the next round.